Skill 16, when verbs are underlined. Okay, so you will have typically somewhere from three to five questions per English section where there's a verb underlined or a verb and one or two other words. And your goal there is pretty similar. So in these cases, basically you have to either look at subject verb agreement or verb tense. Sometimes both, but usually it's one or the other. All right. So first of all, let's talk about subject verb agreement. The first thing you should check when a verb is underlined is whether or not it agrees with the subject, right? It has to, by agreeing with the subject, basically, you can't say it were, you have to say it was, right? So that means they're both singular. That's what it means to agree with the subject. Say, in order to do that right, you have to identify the subject really clearly. And this is important. You should circle the subject on the page. Once you identify the subject, circle it, because they ask these in tricky kinds of ways where sometimes you can think you identify the subject, but if you just do it in your head, it's easy to kind of fall into a trap. So circling it with your pencil makes you focus more intently and makes it much less likely that you'll get the wrong subject. Importantly, for subject verb agreement issues, the subject is pretty much never right before the verb, right? You're not going to have John walked to his friend's house. Oh, yeah, and they're going to underline walked. No, because that's too easy, right? You're going to have John, concerned that he had forgotten his suitcase with at least $3 million in cash, walked to his friend's house, right? You're going to have a whole bunch of stuff between the subject and the verb, right? The verb is walked, the subject is John, all the way back here. That's almost always how these are going to work. So there's a little trick that I like to say, which is called get rid of the fluff, right? So literally you can like cross all this out so that you can more easily and correctly and accurately identify the subject the right way. Okay. One more thing about subject verb questions. In most cases, there is only one verb in the answer choice with the correct number, meaning there's only one singular and three plurals. That's how it'll work, or one plural and three singulars. If that's the case, which usually it is, you know it's the odd man out. So if there's only one singular and three plurals, the right answer is going to be singular. If there's one plural and three singulars, the right answer is going to be plural. I don't know why they do this, but it works almost every single time. All right. Let's look at an example. So, number 32. Remember the previous lesson, look at the change. So immediately, okay, so we have to pay attention to the verb. And there's a little bit of verb tense going on here too, but we're going to use the odd man out trick. It makes it so easy. So these days, with athletes winning up to 8 gold medals in one year's Olympic Games, it's easy to forget that at one time, winning multiple gold medals, something rare, right? Notice, were is plural, was is singular, are is plural, and have been is plural, right? They have been, right? Was is the only singular. It's going to be the right answer. And it is. Because what's the subject? The subject is winning. And that's what makes this a little bit harder. Winning is a gerund. It's not a verb. This is a noun, right? Imagine you can have a sentence that would say like, winning is fun. What's winning there? It's a noun. It's a thing, right? Winning. So winning was rare. And notice the fluff, multiple gold medals. That's the fluff. And that's what's there to confuse you. It looks like the subject might be medals, but it's not. It's winning. All right. So this is a perfect example of getting rid of the fluff and noticing the odd man out. All right, let's look at verb tense. Okay, nice and short here. Verb tense questions are usually not bad. All you have to do is look at the other verbs in the same sentence and choose the verb that is in the same tense as those. They could make it much harder for you with these types of questions, but they don't. Okay, let's just look at one example. So here for number 70, you can look at these. Okay, have, became, had, become, becomed. That's just crazy. But immediately you know, all right, we're dealing with verb tense. We have a have and a had. So let's see. Rather than just accompany on-screen action, McCreery's music also illuminates. There's a verb. Present tense. It illuminates. That's right now happening. Characters and ideas. Certain themes. Okay, we need present tense because the previous verb right beforehand was present tense. Certain themes become associated with particular characters, and that's it. Um, so all you have to do is find the closest verb, basically, and match the tense. So that works pretty much every time. Again, all of these rules can be broken, but 9 out of 10 times they're right. So don't do it automatically. Look at it, make sure it makes sense. But as long as it makes sense, you're going to get that one right. And that's pretty much it. When you have a verb underlined, these are the two things you're checking for. And we talked about subject verb agreement and verb tense, and that's the deal with verbs.